Another page in the life of Aunty Alice is an excerpt taken from the book Legendary Territorians by local legend of the Territory himself, the late Mr. Reg Harris.
In this page turn, Stan Hill gets colour TV for the Alice. The Australian Broadcasting Commission, ABC, decided that Alice Springs should have a television service, which was implemented around 1972. Only limited funds were available, resulting in a very basic service. Channel 2 in Adelaide would record each of their evening's programs for replay in the Alice. News and current affairs tapes would be air freighted for replay the following evening. Features and movies were replayed 1 week later. The ABC advised there were insufficient funds to install a colour transmitter, which would cost an extra $50,000. So the Alice had to be content with black and white transmission, although all the tapes were recorded in colour. The ABC sent an engineer, Stan Hill, to Alice to play the tapes and maintain the equipment. Local electronics technician Jeff Farmer discovered that he could modify TV receivers and so enable the viewers a limited colour picture. The only problem? When Stan changed tapes, the screen would go completely green until the viewers switched their sets off and then on again. Jeff called his modification a colour burst and charged $100 for the conversion. Jeff, Stan, plus a couple of American technicians from Pine Gap had regular get-togethers to swap ideas. One evening they were discussing the mild success of Jeff's colour burst modification when the suggestion was made, why not fit similar equipment to the transmitter? Then everyone could receive a colour image at no extra cost and with no green problems. They scrounged all required equipment from Pine Gap and their own workshops. Then in 1975, the citizens of Alice Springs were provided with a colour signal about 90% efficient, saving the ABC $50,000 in 1972 dollars. Eventually, the South Australian State Management of the ABC received news of this and immediately went into action. Stan was contacted by telephone and was advised most emphatically that he had no right to modify the equipment and allow the Alice to have colour TV. He was directed to remove it immediately and revert back to black and white. He refused on the grounds that over 300 colour TVs had been purchased and he would not accept responsibility for making them redundant, and as long as they continued to tape in colour, he would transmit in colour. Programs were then sent in black and white, much to the disgust of Alice Springs people. So Stan rang Reg Harris for suggestions on how to overcome the problem. Reg in turn rang Senator Bernie Kilgariff, one of the Territory's top politicians. He raised hell in the Senate, resulting in some angry calls to ABC management. Stan was again contacted by phone with the words, "Call off your political dogs and you can have your colour tapes back again." On the 2nd of November 1976, the Director of Engineering South Australia wrote to Stan strongly criticising his action and advising him that his future with the ABC would be limited and that any promotion to positions requiring dependability and discretion would be unlikely. Then, on the 3rd of November, the acting manager for South Australia wrote to Stan, fully endorsing the director's comments. He also instructed Stan to act more responsibly in the future and requested his assurance that he would obey these instructions. When the service was eventually upgraded, Stan was transferred to Darwin to drive the outside broadcast vehicle, an obvious downgrading. One cannot help but compare. Had he worked for private enterprise and his initiative had saved $50,000, he would have received a large bonus plus an assured future.
This excerpt in another page in the life of Aunty Alice is proudly lifted from the book Legendary Territorians, a collection of stories, memoirs and terrific tales of the pioneering men and women of the Northern Territory, written by no less a legend of the Territory than the late great Mr. Reg Harris. Legendary Territorians is available at all good bookstores in and around Alice Springs, Dimmicks and the radio station 98.7 Tourist Gold and your station 8HA.